gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Wrestling Podcast. Cross the line in 3, 2.
What is good, my TNA Wrestling fam? Welcome to episode 151 of the Talking Nonsense About TNA Wrestling. It's a damn podcast. We're happy to be back. It's episode 151, one night only. And alongside me, as always, I need to work out, is the bait of my ace. It's been a while. The West Side Gun to my Smoke Dizza. And most importantly, and from the bottom of my heart, Lucha, you're the Sonny Siaki to my Jorge Estrada. It is Lucha, everybody. What's going on?
Whatever. The Mummy Murders, Gravitas Ventures 2024 hit film presents Talking Nonsense About TNA Wrestling. One night only.
Old time's sake, some nonsense. He's throwing up the pinkies for Sienna, I believe. Your favorite wrestler. This is gonna be nonsense. If you guys are here, returning friends of the show, thank you for doing so. This is so far a one night only, or at this point is a one night only, and we're gonna try to make it fun, but also celebrate the positives, talk about the negatives, be unbiased, transparent, and honest. But if you want us to come back, we never put you behind a paywall. But hit up that Cash App, TNAIW. And for the
Not
low,
a
low
wall,
price.
it's a countertop.
Man, look, to be real, guys, I love you all. You guys know who you are. But this shit jeopardizes my fandom. And I've loved this company since June 19th, 2002. So if we coming back, we're gonna do it. But we'll answer all your questions. There's so much we want to hit too. So let's make it happen one way or another. Either way, we have a lot to fit in, and we don't want to go over. Maybe like 20 minutes over. But we have a lot. We got power rankings, we got hot topics, we got a big ass card. But first and foremost, we want to put up, or if you don't like this nonsense or the stumbling I'm doing right now, check out any other TNA wrestling podcasting people out there. We have a lot from the family here. Mr. Impact Craig doing his thing still from Talking Bloody Nonsense. And Bert and Datala who are on bodyslam.net. And did you end up doing a show with them?
Yeah, I hopped on the Slammiversary pre-show, the preview.
Hell yeah. There you go. We'll check them out as well. And I'm going to end with that because Datala is doing the voiceover for us on this edition of Power Rankings.
Number 10, Santana. Number 9, We Believe in Joe Henry. Number 8, The Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander. Number 7, Lish Edwards in the System. Number 6, Mustafa Ali. Number 5, Digital Media Champion PCO. Number 4, Tag Team Champions ABC. Number 3, X Division Champion Speedball Mike Bailey. Number 2, Knockouts World Champion Jordan Grace. Number 1, World Champion Nick Nemeth.
And those are the post-Slammiversary Power Rankings. We'll hit them up in just a moment. But for the people you did Power Rankings show with here on this channel, Bert and Datala, go catch them at bodyslam.net. And they're all the shows they do there. Check out As I'm Still Stumbling. It's going to be a while before I get my feet up under me. Go check out all the rest of the TNA podcasters out there, man. If you don't like our vibe, our voice, keep growing the community, keep growing this company. And yeah, that's what I got.
And shout out to the homie Mike G, man. Like, air hugs to the homie. We love you, Mike G.
Get that man a hug. Go check out his shit. Brace for Impact. Go check it out. Power rankings. Let's talk about power rankings. Man, this is gonna be a show.
the glaring controversy that I know some people. I mean, I don't have a problem with it because I'll explain. But the glaring controversy I know that the masses will probably have with it
Mm.
is you got Jordan, who's been the champ since January and successfully defended a title and has been on this run. Not number one.
Spider-Man meme, GIF. Yeah, you know that
Right.
man.
You gotta, but let me take it back to the Godfather of the power rankings real quick. Lay it down on why it is what it is. Look
Okay.
at it. Yeah, Jordan had this great run since January, right? Which can't take away from it. Nick Nemeth beat 5 cats in one night.
He only pinned two of them. We'll get to that, but yeah, that's fair.
He only pinned two, yeah, but he beat 5 cats in
I'm
one
just.
match at one time
I think
via
Jordan has been
elimination.
dominating. It doesn't matter, just representing us on other shows, etc. And Joe Hendry has been viral. So I just feel like should be up there maybe a little bit, even though that Josh heel turn. We'll get to. You guys just tell us what you think. We could talk about this for hours, and because we're in the treehouse, we probably would have. But we
We would
snapped
have.
on we snapped out of it. And let's get to the show because the show, as I was alluding to earlier, it was a long one, man, but it was a fun one. And we'll hit up our predictions along the way so you guys can see where we were thinking and what was going on, and in our heads, or try to. And then also give our grades at the end and so on and so on. Hit up hot topics. We got a lot to get to. I'll stop stammering. We'll start with the. I don't know, man. I don't want to start with the negative. I'll say this: the crowd was phenomenal.
Yes.
Uh, they were lit.
They look. People were complaining about the lighting. I'm like, shit. They were lit the whole fucking time, as far as
Right,
I'm concerned.
right.
Like
But
it was beautiful to hear 4,000 TNA. It made my heart cry.
people all on the same page, yeah, and seem to know the product for the most part. Um, and that's the only gripe I would say I had besides the audio. I want to hear theme music. Let's be honest here, unbiased, transparent, honest.
Yeah,
Um,
look. You pick this pay-per-view to use a fired new West Side Gun song that we didn't know existed until the show. Like Slammiversary was the debut. Which side is it? It's right here. Yeah, Chocolate Face.
West
That
Side,
song dropped. Like I don't even think it's fully out yet.
nice, and it was our
But
theme
we
song.
couldn't really fucking hear it. Yeah, it was our theme song,
I'm a mark
and
for
we couldn't
themes.
fucking hear it.
So luckily, none of those surprises that we thought were going to happen or maybe put in our head happened because you need that theme music to trigger. So those are the things we have to be honest about. But I will say, lately, the Philly crowd was insane. I like them. Um, the production in whole has been much better than when we left. It seems like there's a footing. They got the lighting better during the show, so I'm not going to have any gripes about it. It didn't ruin my day, but I understand that viewpoint. At the same time, there was 4,000 motherfuckers chanting TNA. The matches were really good. The show was fun, um, and very facey. All
Yeah,
facey.
it was very facey.
It was all facey, I believe. But we'll get to that. But yeah, so
My
those are the
only
things. Yeah,
real quick, my only thing, because I wasn't really complaining about the audio like while I was watching, because I had it on my surround sound shit. So I mean, yeah, it was still, you know, couldn't hear it,
right.
still heard it, and then also it kind of, and you might appreciate this. It brought you back to WCW, where you could barely really hear the themes, but you knew they were there. Not
Sell it,
excusing
Lucha.
them. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like
Sell
it
it.
brought me back.
No,
But
I
my
wasn't.
only gripe was the fact that the tunnel wasn't in the middle. I love the tunnel in the middle.
Thank you.
So that's all I got.
We're gonna get this or through this together because you bring me back on track full circle. That's what I was gonna say. Up until this, production has been good. I really been digging the tunnel in the middle, the lights behind it, and I like Jade being there because they have this weird cut where they do Jade and then it goes away from the wrestler's entrance. But I want to see both, and they've been doing it over her shoulder, and I like that. So who knew that we would argue against hard cam, but we really like hard cam against crowd. but
Yeah.
I really do like the entranceway now being shown the way it was. But still look cool, man. I'm not gonna no gripes there. Didn't ruin my night. In the words of what's Killer Cam and Mace, it is what it is. Is what it is.
There you go.
We are gonna go check out that podcast by while we're at it. Plug-in
Oh yeah.
podcast. It is what it is podcast. All right. We're gonna start the pre-show in Lucha. I gotta ask the question because it's always relevant. Did you watch the pre-show?
Through happenings of in the pizza realm, I missed a good chunk of the pre-show. I caught the tail end of Swan and Kushida,
Okay.
bits and pieces of Militia versus Spitfire.
I think that was the universe speaking to us. You spoke pizza and then mentioned Rich Swan. I don't know. I just because I was gonna make a rapid delivery pizza. Anyways. Okay.
Yeah, shouts out to Rapid Delivery Pete. But yeah, I wasn't able to watch the pre-show as intently as I wanted to. I saw enough for the pre-show. That was when I discovered the West Side Gun theme was the
Okay.
joint because I wasn't on socials at all today, so I didn't see West tweet about it.
Okay.
So
Well, let me
then when
walk.
I heard it, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Well, let me walk you through it. Obviously know you've read what happened or caught back up. But we had that four-way of knockouts. Tasha, Fabi Apache making a return because that AAA deal is finally paying
I'm
off.
dead.
Yeah, Giselle Shaw, who's back with her old music again. I did hear that. So see, the audio wasn't that bad. And Zaya Brookside, who's coming into her own. She's a blonde-haired, blue-eye American girl, just like Taylor Wilde. I dig the dig the energy. But Tasha's gonna pick up
Irony
the
in that statement.
you rather say. Uh, but I really dug the outcome of this match, man. Not only was Tasha rocking the Cruella de Vil, uh, we were talking when we did our predictions. We were both wrong. We went with Giselle. Obviously, she's on the rise. Our predictions are out the window. You know that, man. Um,
Dude,
but we have no ego. We'll be honest.
nor did we put money on Bet Online. Like if I would have bet on that, and man, my parlay would have been so fucked, and I wouldn't have been happy.
I would have made my money in that PCO match, but other than there, we would we'd be better than the drizzling shits. Um, anyways, I like this for a reason. You know, we're not doing depth charts this episode. If you want to see them, TNAIW Cash. But no, seriously, we're not doing depth charts. But one of the things I do notice from the shadows is that people, you know, the knockouts division being thin. Giselle's already getting her rise here. Zaya's finding her footing, but Tasha has kind of been out of the loop for the most part. So elevating the former three-time, let's see, a two-time knockouts tag and a one-time knockouts world, elevating her while still not hurting Giselle. Um, it's starting to bring Jordan some clear competitors in the future. So for that reason, I really dug it and was like, this is match one, and I'm already 0-1. So I was just, it opened that can of don't give a fuck, you know, just like, you know what? Who cares now? I'm just gonna hold
It's
off the
it
band-aid.
was this. It's the same as watching, doing March Madness and putting your bracket together, and then fucking 16 seed beats number one,
Right.
and you just throw the whole thing away.
And you're like, you know what?
They beat your champion.
Now I'm just gonna enjoy basketball. Yeah, I know, I feel you. But we're gonna keep this show going. I'm even gonna skip over the promos, not because this one's AJ Francis per se. No, we'll get to AJ. I got nice things to say about AJ. Um, but I do want to mention Gia. We love Gia, man. She is that Mean Gia is that next one from we always talked about it. You had your Borashes, man. You had your Christy Hemis. Um, she's that
Your
next
Shane
one.
Douglas.
You had your Shane. Oh yes, you had Shane Douglas with the yellow TNA, her gold. But she is that one, and she re-signed, so that's really cool, man. Just want to make sure I mention that in my wonderful notes that I have. Some of these are wonky, and I'm trying to make my way through. But I do know, Lucha, that the next match was Rich Swan versus Kushida. Kushida, now this is a this this one was a who cares because we had not Kushida even when he faced
Yeah.
Gresham. Um, I don't know if that's real. That's storyline. I'm not in the know about dirt sheet, any of that stuff. Maybe you know about Gresham missing it, or I mean,
Something to do with motherfuckers missing their I don't know, something to do with some sort of shutdown that went down. I'm not too privy myself. I
Your
just
wife,
know that there was
if your
malarkey.
if your wife can't give you a ride into the building, we
And
gotta.
she had to be there earlier just to take care of business.
Fair enough. But we haven't talked in a while, so part of and saying hi to you guys, breaking that fourth wall, the fourth wall. This is the whole show's the fourth wall. Is we could catch up on a little bit of the changes that happened since we've been gone, and it's been 6 months, so we're seeing obviously a different Rich Swan here,
Yeah.
and we're seeing a 100% different Kushida. Going back to the Gresham thing, we saw or seen a totally different Gresham. So one, I'm cool with Kushida getting a change, but I thought that's maybe where the Gresham thing storyline maybe played in a little bit, that he didn't actually miss it. Maybe I'm wrong. I probably am. But Kushida just turns a little darker in character, and Gresham's not there. Does it feel like there's a change in the storyline that maybe is coming, where they're not foes or something?
I mean, to put the pencil in the hand, I don't think. I just think, because what the Kushida we got, we were probably going to get either way.
Oh, you think so?
Probably, yeah. This probably would have been a Kushida we got after Slam, but since we weren't able to get Gresh, they were like, "Well, shit, let's just do it
Speed up.
now and then spin the block later."
I like where your head's at. Yeah, I couldn't put my hand on it. I try to look at all the different possibilities there. Either way, yeah, all I have written down is he looks like a Yakushi Ka from '95. Shout out to Yakushi on Raw. Um, and ECW, I think. But it's a
Yeah,
different look. I had no clue what the hell was going on. Um, and I'm trying not to be ignorant here. But I thought he had a laundry basket on his head. I didn't know I really didn't know what was going on. I didn't even know it was Kushida under there. I thought it was like a new manager or something. So when the reveal happened, I was like, oh, that's kind of okay. I see where it is going, but where is it going in regards to Gresham is the first thing that came to my mind.
hey man, only way to know is to find out.
I like how you wrap that up. That's where we're gonna do anything else on that. You saw that one, so
Now, shout out to Rich Homie Swan.
yeah. We'll talk about that. We'll bunch him in with AJ.
I was very happy.
Next up is our third wrong one of the night. Militia is retaining here over Spitfire. And they do a double pin or something. The one thing I will say before we get into the thick of things is, where did tag team wrestling go? Like, I just feel like the refs have just kind of washed their hands a little bit in our tag team matches lately. There's three people in the ring at the same time for all the time. Um, I know it's easier, but shit.
Yeah, I'm kind of at the point of fuck it, let's ride. Like I don't, I'm a old, I prefer how tag wrestling used to be, the days of the beer monies and all that stuff. But at the
Right.
same time, the action's gotten kind of quicker as time has gone on. So the rules should probably have to start adapting with the change of people at some point, right?
Man, I don't know. You got to be the change you want to see, man. And I just think it should start with making tags and going from going from there. But I mean, to each their own. I get
Make all tag title matches tornado. Fuck it.
like a no mercy. I don't want I don't want this game. Um, no, I do love No Mercy. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. I do want to say this though. One that was a surprise, especially seeing that Lish is the only one, and we made Datla did that in the power rankings. When she made it, she put the Lish Edwards and the system because at this point she's carrying those bastards, like you said.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, I it was interesting for that reason. Later in the night, looking back in retrospect, it's weird that not weird, but it's interesting that she held it. Could be funny for her character because her holding and saying I'm the only one with the title while degrading the boys could be something. Um, but more so, I want to point out Spitfire, who I was really rooting for because we've been clamoring for real tag teams. And when the KOs are floundering, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but there's only so much TV time within those 92 minutes, right? So you're going to have your Jordan versus whoever. Now you have an NXT person there. Don't get lost in the shuffle. Put yourselves together like they did with Spitfire and make something real out of it. And I really dug that. They look like a tag team. They act like a tag team. So that part, I'm like, I'm ready for someone like that to take the ball and kick the tires. All the phrases.
All the phrases, throwing them all out there. Nah, I'm with you. Because like every time someone wants to talk about how the Knockouts tag division is air quote weak, it's just like, I mean, it's not like every division and every company is swimming with like tag staples. Like there's a lot of new tags that might be randomly put together, but like
Right.
you got to start somewhere with a lot of them, and we're
We'll talk about one of them later.
yeah. So it's is what it is. Legit surprised that Militia retained.
Yeah,
I'm one of the ones that call them Militia because that's a fire ass name.
it is. It is. I'll give them that. I've never been a fan, even when it was Main Event Mafia, when there was like that somebody helping the Main Event Mafia. Kind of JDC's kind of doing that too. But I always like when the group is the group. So it's funky with Masha doing her thing, and I hope she gets out of the tag eventually and goes into the singles. But I'm happy for Lish, and it's a good time. But I do like Spitfire. Are you on the same page? Are you happy how they kind of cohesive? Yeah, kind of cohesive.
Yeah,
Um, Wrapping up this oh no, first Santino's gonna come out and he's speaking Italian or something, I think. Um
French,
I don't, hey, you took two
French
years of
Canada.
French, yeah, there's a different Americans. But he's gonna make an impromptu match with 10 minutes left. Three of it's gonna go to EY's entrance. Look, I love Eric, man. I know they perceive him as the Triple H of the company, but I don't know about that Doctor Doom and that long entrance, man. All respect to him.
I mean,
Um,
we can chop the interest down as far as time goes, but that's it. Everything else is fucking fire.
yeah, no, I like the once again, great
Between the
idea.
Doctor Doom mask and the Casey Jones mask that he
Ah,
pulls
go
out.
back to the Casey Jones. I love the Casey Jones look. Um, but I love what he's doing, man, because he's that player coach role where we know behind the scenes he's still, you know what I mean? But in front of it, he's still that vet who has been here literally since the get. So, love Eric Young being on our TV. Glad they made him they worked him into this in a spot here. And this is his 10th Slammiversary, which is, I think, who was, man, I didn't write it down because whatever. But um, yeah,
I feel
EY
like it
makes,
would have to be James Storm who would be
I
close
thought
in that.
there was some stat they put out, I feel like, and either way,
Treehouse.
e- this whole show. Either way, uh, Hammerstone makes his return in a losing effort. I don't know. I'm not once again. I don't know what's going on. Um, but do you know anything? Was he really? He was really hurt, but then he could wrestle in Germany or whatever, and then he comes back and he does the job to EY, and we're in a prop two match. Is there anything more to that,
I'm
or am I just no?
I'm not sure myself. I'm just glad to see him back because I mean it did suck when he was on TV. It gets real hot in this heel angle, and then it's just like I didn't see him for a while, so that kind of like for whatever reason. But I'm just glad the nigga's back on TV.
Yeah, he's too good not to regain that momentum, even if it's not on booking end. Even though they kind of clean it up at the end where he comes out and we have a match for this Thursday show. So it doesn't look like it's going to be a long time. Hey, jobbing you out thing, that terminology. But you know what I mean.
They're probably gonna run it back at what Emergence? Is that next?
August 30th emergence. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll probably run it back there.
Well, either way, it's an arm up, roll up, which we'll talk about later. And EY gets the victory, says a little speech. We hit the FBI warning. We're on the main show, talking. Nope, first national anthem, and then Broken Matt Hardy is on a revenge tour. I don't know. He's out for Rebby, out for Jeff, and he's gonna beat JDC with three twist of fates. JDC wearing America Fuck Yeah pants. The whole system wearing um,
Yeah,
the whole USA gear. But your thoughts on the match and Hardy picking up the victory? Made sense. Right?
yeah, everything sounded about right, and I mean, little did we know that would kind of set the tone to how we were going to be sent home as far as reactions post match.
Mhm. We did get this
Because I
one right.
mean, yeah, We did. We did. It's probably the only fucking one.
Yeah. Um, yeah, nice little starter match, man. Good to get Matt Hardy on there. Like I said, he gets a twist of fate, one for Jeff, one for Rebby, and one for Senior Benjamin. I don't know. But Jeff
Yeah,
obviously
this
getting
one
rid
was
of this.
probably for Vanguard One.
What for Vanguard? Well, there you go. Um, but where was I going? Oh, we talked about Jeff being written off for TV. I said in my prediction to you that I thought that they would win. I thought the system would retain, and then Jeff comes back. They win the titles right before Bound for Glory, and they drop them there. And especially if we're going overseas again, to the UK maybe for that. Still no announcement, but hoping it's the UK. Either way, that whole scenario gets maybe ruined because ABC is going to win the titles next against the system, which honestly might be my favorite match of the night.
Oh no, man.
There's
I'll
great
tell you
ones
my
still.
favorite match, but I was legitimately surprised.
Same, yeah.
Not mad, just surprised.
Well, you did say they're gonna be sticking together for a while. See, I thought they did a great job of teasing the who might turn heel, might turn on each other. Who are they gonna stay as a tag team? I think so much that it seeped into my brain that I was like, oh damn, there's gonna be that switch.
You
Um,
accepted that reality before it happened.
there you go, and that's why we got it wrong. But the system loses the titles here, so Militia keeps them, system lose them, and that's the point for me that I was like, oh shit, is Moose gonna lose his too? Like it changed for me right there. But what a damn match, man! That was really good. Crowd really into it. Any word on that before we speed along a little bit?
I mean, I think from the moment ABC came out with the new music that you probably couldn't hear, it's like you kind of got to say to yourself, "Well, damn, they got new music. They for damn sure not you losing now.
Right.
You can't give me a new theme and then I take the L.
Unless it's plugging Chris Bay's singles run because it's his music, right? Maybe right. Either way, they
No,
won.
because it says ABC in the whole thing.
Oh,
I
it
don't know.
does. I couldn't hear it. So
Yeah, I think no, because I think Hannafin said the name of the song is ABC or something like that.
heard, heard. Uh, well, it was a fire match, man, and I literally have a really ugly flame drawn on there. That's how I know it was a fire match. Um, but what it set up next was Jake something versus Mike Santana, and the reason I think I wrote that is because I felt these guys were in a tough spot. The crowd has been there for now 6 matches. ABC winning the title. The crowds they were ready to crash a little bit.
A little
Um,
bit.
a little bit. And they had that tough task of being that next one. But it reminded me, talk the WCW theme here, that there was always matches throughout Nitro that it was just two guys, but those just two guys were star here, and it just because they were sandwiched between Ray versus Dean Malenko, and you know what I mean? Like it just is what
Yeah,
it is, right? Harlem
like
Heat
a Perry
versus
Saturn Booker T match in between
right.
Rey Mysterio Dean Malenko match and a hot ass NWO angle.
Right. So that's where I felt these guys were, but it was still a great or a fun match for me. Um, and this is where I think the DMC title should really be around. I know a lot of people say this and that about the X Division title being our Intercontinental. I get why people say that, and they want to put it as that way. K or real life, it is the most prestigious title we have.
Yeah.
Okay, but kayfabe, it's the one that Brian Kendrick and Amazing Red, not downplaying any of them, but they weren't. It wasn't their projecting or their. It wasn't the launching pad for them to go into the world title. Sometimes it was just smaller, athletic, great wrestlers wrestling. So we need that one that kind of gets the guys ready that are on that cusp of that, taking on Nick Nemeth or whatever. Give them something to fight about. This is where I thought it could be. I like Mike Santana being back. I forgot that we haven't been here in 6 months, so I should mention that those kind of things.
Yeah.
Happy to have him back. Something we talked about on the regular about him being that could have been at that time Josh's foil, both coming from tag teams, well-known tag teams. And you have your two dudes for years, and I hope that's the case. We'll get to more on that later, but I still think Jake something needs that little something, and it's nothing. It's not his look. It's not his wrestling ability. I think he needs even Mike Awesome need Judge Jeff Jones. You know what I mean? That guy that goes
Yeah.
down and it can't be Diener. All respect to Diener, but it needs to be someone who's just a manager who's like hyping this motherfucker up. Bravo? What's he doing? Right?
You know, yeah, that I like that. I like
Not
that.
bad, right? Or
And then
I was just
go
gonna
ahead.
say, Iceman. If Ash by Elegance needs more people, that would be some funny shit.
This man start getting clients, and
Yeah.
yo, that would be a crazy it'll be a crazy reality. You got Iceman who has Ash and fucking Jake something.
Something.
Like that's a crazy Heenan family 2024 type situation.
Shit,
Uh,
man, we're not getting paid for this. What are we
But
next week on
for the
Impact?
DM for the DMC, I'm with you though. Like that's like the alternate to me. That's the alternate route to the world title.
Mm, yes,
You know what I'm saying? Like, because to me, X Division is. I'm not saying it's about a size, but it's more about a style.
right. There we go.
And there's a lot of guys who should be close but don't fit the style of the X Division. That's why Joe Hendry didn't win the X
Right,
Division title. He won the digital media. It's the
right.
alternate route.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Yeah, 100%. And it's not saying, one, the lineage is still good. There, say what say what you will. You look at the record book, the digital media title still has a good from beginning of Jordan Grace on respectable. Um, so I think it could be that. And with PCO holding it, not to jump ahead because we got one more match before that, obviously. Um, but I'd like it to get there. I'd like to see Kazarian hold it. I'd like to see Jake something in that mix. Them group of guys who are waiting. Um, but if we, yeah, we'll move on, right?
Hammerstone, even though
Oh,
Hammerstone
Hammerstone,
is
yes.
basically a direct to world title type cat, but still, just for him to I kind of low key want a solo running of Matt Hardy and have Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy as DMC would honestly kind of hit to me just because, like, you look at his past with social media.
Right. Yeah, if we go, and that's the thing too, is I remember you got to take I sometimes have to remember that the name is literally digital media. It's about getting to whatever. And that's, where I'm going to give AJ Francis props when we talk about that match. But as we take a take two, the perks of doing this not live, Lucha, we're going to get into the Rascals. But first, I want to say thank you guys for rocking with us. Hopefully still with us. It's like it's like a bicycle, but maybe if I amputated a leg or something. We're trying to we're just trying to get used to it. But we're here. I hope you guys still are. If you like what you see, if you want us to continue, let us know. There we go. But let's move on to our favorite, the Rascals, fresh out the treehouse themselves, so they'll understand this debauchery of an episode. Um, but they're rocking the Buzz Lightyear gear, man. And in a night where we're having all these different things that happen, we're having 4 hours and 20 minutes of wrestling. Somehow the Rascals and things we lead with that we're so most excited about. They're back together.
Yes.
We'll talk about NXT TNA later, but seeing Dez or Wesley back to it was cool, man. It was really cool.
I'm almost like Trey. I mean, I wouldn't call him dead. West even in a fire.
There you go.
If he's here, he's dead. Once he
Yeah.
crosses what was it, the prohibited portal or
Is
whatever,
that what we're
he
calling?
can go back.
I
I
missed
think
that.
that's what Jordan called it. But
Okay.
once you go through the portal, bro, you gotta snap back and forth.
Right back into your character. It's like the lake of reincarnation, right?
Yeah, yeah.
There we go.
But
Putting the pieces
once
together.
once once the treehouse segment came back, I'm like, finally, the world is at peace.
At peace. Ah, 4-3-2 vibes everywhere. I love it, man. It was one of those moments for me from that to now seeing them. Because I look once again, and it's nothing against when I say I don't have time NXT, or it's not a gripe against any other product. I just 92 minutes of wrestling is what I got, and it's for TNA. Um, so
There's
this is
literally
my first.
wrestling on every day a week.
I know, man. You're probably tired watching it. It's hard to keep up. I'm just not a keep up kind of guy. Shit, until I got a discount, I almost almost got rid of TNA Plus. Um,
Right.
and that's after watching it 20 something years from day one. But it's not, once again, it's just my life. But Glad I'm watching TNA, and I'm glad you guys are as well. Back to NXT. I don't have a chance to watch NXT, so this is my first time seeing them together. I think I saw maybe the clip of, the little part there. It was happy for that. Happy to have them as faces. I guess, being with Wes makes sense that they be faces, but I'm enjoying the whole thing, and I'm happy to see it play out at Slammiversary because they're also facing for a second week in a row, but this time with not Kushida having a
The
proper
right
member,
combination.
the right combination. The no quarters catch crew. Just catch crew. There we go. All right. I'm learning, man. And once again, don't know anything about him. I know one's Regal's kid. I know everyone probably leads with that. But this
Charlie Dempsey.
this Steve Coogan looking motherfucker is I like him, man. Now I'm a mark for Regal. But
Yeah.
even if you didn't tell me that was Regal's kid, just the build and the movement, the maroon trunks help. But it's there, man, and he's got something. I dig that. Uh, and then other guy, there was more
What's his name? Tavion Heights, and I forgot the third cat.
the third cat. I have no clue who he is, but young Randy vibes. Did you get that or not?
I have to go back and watch it, and then I'll holla at you about that one.
The navy-ish tattoos, the movements like in his move. Watch it, man. And I'm not saying Randy, but I'm saying Randy.
Rand,
I
yeah.
don't know his trajectory, but I'm spotting that.
Before we knew his middle name started with K.
There you go. Two stripes down the, SmackDown looking.
Overdrive
There you
Randy.
go.
I think that was his move. I think he was one of those doing the overdrive.
He was, I think. Yeah, he hit that Elix Skipper spot, right? Right? Play of the day is the overdrive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, off into the netherworld. Continuing this though, I don't mind the no quarter catch crew, but as I was alluding to earlier, there are some people who just are thrown together just to see if they float, and it feels like these three guys have nothing in common. They're kind of like what was Rise Up called?
The Rising?
The Rise. Oh,
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it. Yeah, yeah.
oh,
Drew,
is that
Eli,
easy?
and what
Micah,
was his name?
Micah.
Micah.
Yeah, Micah. Um, but
Hey
yeah,
yo,
I enjoyed him.
almost as almost as notorious as the WWE name generator. Sometimes that TNA name generator be wildin'.
Pritchard and Big wasn't Big that era.
Bird,
Yeah, that was yeah, yes. Back on track. I like them. They pick up the loss. No harm, no foul. We're a cohesive partnership. They won one week, we win the next with their NXT guy. We hit the hot fire flame like old times. Beautiful. At peace, right?
everything everything happened the way it was supposed to. The world
Everything.
made sense
The world
for
makes
that
sense.
trios match.
And we'll leave it on that. Let's get to PCO versus AJ Francis. This is for the DMC, and I'm not gonna lie, another belt. Um,
International Heavyweight Wrestling Championship.
hey, it's got lineage. I'm not no disrespect. I'm just obviously if you haven't noticed yet, don't retain as well as I used to. No disrespect to it, and no disrespect to PCO who finally captures it. I guess it's one he was going for a while. Must be Canadian based, right? Um,
Yeah, I think it is.
but speaking of long entrances, great idea, long entrance. They do a magic trick, put the dummy in the box, and PCO. But once again, like the idea, let's work on the execution. Let's tighten that shit up a little bit. This is why we're going 20 minutes over. I'm an old man. The 11:20 was a little much, a little much. So
Paul
let's
was
cut
trying
those.
to keep his eyes open for the
All
last
I
two
got, bro.
eliminations.
All they got to do is cut back EY's entrance and PCO's entrance, and I'm in bed by at a good time. Right. Um, but that being said, we talk on the regular, Lucha. As a Dolphins fan, AJ Francis, I can't escape this motherfucker. Okay, I see him 3 stints with them. I think look. I'm gonna start with the positives. I'm gonna throw it to you because he has been. Well, the positive is what you find the positive as well, and the digital media also in that yeah arena as well. But when Eric Bischoff talks about oh, we got the no, go with me. And we got the Macho Man. He always says it all the time. We got the Macho Man, but Slim Jim paid us the 750 in sponsorship, and Macho cost 750, so I got Macho for free. That kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think AJ Francis, in that regard, is our Macho Man, man. Because for everywhere he is, every interview he has, everything on digital media he does, he's putting us out there. He's the antithesis of Hulk Hogan. The antithesis? Yeah. Uh,
It's
he's the
crazy to call
opposite.
him Hulk Hogan, but I get where you're at.
He's the opposite.
Yeah.
He goes to interviews and he talks about TNA. And that you can't pay for, man. So for that, I'm calling him the Macho Man of TNA. Macho Man was in TNA. Because so maybe that anyways. I want to leave it off the good note.
Well, from my personal fandom, ever since he's been in, it's been beautiful for me. It's like the fact that I get to watch TNA on a weekly basis and get a DJ Who Kid drop
Yeah.
every time this mofo comes out. 2003 me is like, hell yeah, we made it, we here. And then now, what I'm saying, I'm sure through his connections how we got the West Side track.
Maybe, yeah.
Bun B was on an episode, what I'm saying? Who Kid's been on several, actually.
But
He's
that's
had
the
a
AJ.
couple other cats come.
It's the AJ Francis effect, man. It's all I think because of him in some capacity, one way or another.
Also shout out to Smoke Dizza, who came out with him along with Joshua Bishop, fourth rope wrestler.
Oh, is it? I call him Cooper Nemeth. He looked like the Manning brother, the third Nemeth.
The
I had no
third
clue.
Nemeth.
I'm gonna be real. I had no clue what was going on with any of that. But I do know Smoke Dizza, and that's why I gave him a shout at the beginning. Back on track. I don't know where I was. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. I had more compliments, and I was trying to think of the match itself. Of course, it had to be a street fight. It makes sense. Look, we're unbiased, transparent, honest. We have eyes, and brains. A straight up match between them two probably wouldn't have been the best. Street fight needs to make sense. Don't mind it. Add something to the show. We really didn't have anything like this anywhere else. But we do get a lot of run-ins. We get Sammy, we get Rhino, we get the guy you just mentioned, um, and then we'll get to SDL in a moment. But as far as a match, putting it aside, it had the kick out that popped me the most, and it was AJ kicking out from PCO Assault, the first one. And I got
Huge.
there. I'm gonna be real. I was so surprised. I was like, "Oh shit!" Like it got me, and so I give him multiple credit, Lucha, just because you're here with me.
Beautiful. Yeah, nah, same all the way around. Yeah, the street fight kind of added an extra element of fun
Hmm.
that need, and every pay per view's got to have their plunder match. So
Right.
let's go ahead and get it out of the way with two people who the plunder would work for. Shout out to him hitting the what's he called it, Tennessee whiskey, the
Was it?
knee to where
Oh, and he says, "Who sucks
AJ hits the
now?"
knee. Yeah, but he also kicked the edge of the table, and it still didn't. It just kind of chipped a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Sold it.
pretty. Yeah,
Yeah, look, we spoke off air about this multiple times, but I think there's a little tweak you make with his character, and you could take him super serious if they did that, not giving it for free. But I think there's something that, once again, a team player, like him on board. I feel like everyone shits on him, so we will be the voice of positivity here to AJ
yeah.
Francis. But Pete, what's up?
I always fucks with it. Always fucks with age. With
You
excuse me, with TNAJ Francis. Put some
you
respect
stayed
on my
you
man.
stayed consistent. You've stayed consistent. I think you know what, man. I don't want to beat this, like a dead horse. Is that is that a phrase? Um, but I think it was the timing when we were rebranding and the decision was odd to bring him in at that time. Now it doesn't, obviously, the attention he gathers, well, not so odd. Um, but it was a ballsy move because this guy doesn't get the best love on it. You know what I mean? In the regular, on the regular. But I feel like they turned him heel right away. They did. I don't know, man. I don't. I just trying to be nice. I'm trying to give everyone
I
hugs.
mean, he
I'm
was
not a word I
already
don't want.
healed, so that wasn't
Well, when he came
anything.
in, Well, I felt like when he came in, like you would think a signee would be. Yeah, I guess that's the case. Anyways, let's move on. PCO wins the titles, and after a bunch of shenanigans there, and at the end, now this is something we thought. See, I want PCO, you didn't, um, and I'll let you speak to that. But SDL does come out, and I think that's where we differed. I said I thought they should just be together and kind of go with their comedy thing. Maybe it doesn't end up well, but for now, you thought the opposite.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say the opposite, but more so like we in the end we wanted the same thing. We wanted the betrayal, and then what I'm saying, whoever SDL betrays along with them, and then whatever. I just wanted it now. You're willing to
Well,
get
there's
some
no.
miles off of it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, I thought you meant betrayal of AJ Francis. Like, I think he chokeslammed her through a table, but I get what you're saying. Is
No,
it now or is it later? No, yeah, it's inevitable. But for now, ride it. They're getting married, I guess. She put some kind of butt plug on his finger. I don't know what the fuck that
well,
was.
what the fuck that was.
I was like, I was watching my cousin. He's like, "What is that?" I was like, um,
I was hoping
"Still
you knew,
don't," but it
dog.
was a ring of some sort, and we have a moment. And PCO has a moment in front of Quebec. That where we're at, Montreal.
Montreal, Quebec. Yep.
Um, but we'll talk about not to skip ahead, but try to keep everything together. We thought it would be one or the other, Speedball or PCO. Um, so that's why I think I just went with PCO there. There was no other deeper thought process, but it was a facey night. We'll talk about it. Let's move on to the World Knockouts World Championship match: Jordan versus Ash by Elegance with Iceman, who we mentioned before. We're gonna have a little Rosemary scaring away Iceman, but the ref throws her out anyways. Throws him out anyways. His name not the Iceman for people who watch it knew it. Personal concierge. There we go. Personal concierge. Rosemary's gonna chase him out with a mini sword of some sort. Um, and man, I don't know about you, Lucha. I want to get your opinion first, see if we're on the same page. But it felt like a big deal. It felt like a good matchup. And I thought it was a damn good match.
It was. I was surprised. I won't say surprised. I enjoyed Ash's attempt to take the title from Jordan. You know what I'm saying? This was a for sure, like looking at it from a pure kayfabe standpoint, this was a defense that I don't think Jordan expected to put as much effort
Mm,
as she ended up having to put in to beat Ash.
yeah,
So that should probably make Ash looking good on the other side of this, whenever she does come back, if she does come back to the world title situation.
yeah, yeah. I'm there with you, man. And I wasn't gonna put it that way, but I'm there with you. Um, yeah, that's a great point because there's a lot of character work throughout that match, and there's a lot of selling on Jordan's way to facials of how she's taking the match that I do have a mention of, especially with Ash, but the Jordan thing makes sense as well. She didn't take her as seriously. But my point in all, and same with AJ Francis, I'm rumbling on about. Um, I think they were two signings that maybe people kind of were lukewarm about at the rebrand. One in Ash's case, not because of who she is, but because of maybe how they teased and then they had the I don't know what to not think about Tony Storm, and that might have possibly offend or not offend, but make people think there's a ripoff there without knowing the true context of the character. So I think it was a lukewarm whatever. But I'm gonna be real. I wanted to give her the chance from the get. I always liked Dana Brooks' work when she was Dana Brooke. Her and Emma, I remember having fond memories of that. Um, but this is some of the best character work we've had in this division in a long time. It's somebody kind of reminds me of I told you this like the Beautiful People vibe where maybe people underestimate the wrestling a little bit, or in some cases are right on. But with Ash by Elegance, she has that wrestling style that people don't look at it all or as that's not what they say when they first think of her. Say that, right?
Yeah.
Is that fair? Okay. So her to show up like that, and I don't speak into circles, but also put in this great character work from day one, maybe not the pay-per-view of when she debuted, but the night after and night after and night after. It's some of my favorite, man. It just has a different vibe to it. It felt big deal because it was like this character who has been not really confrontational with Jordan, but we've been waiting for it to finally happen, and they gave you the slow build. I just dig it, man, and I hope I'm saying it the right way. It's been a while, but I really dig what she's doing. Iceman, personal consider blah, blah, blah. There
Concierge.
we go. Um, the tandem together is money. I really enjoy it, man.
I like you. A lot of times I'll say I hate something as I'm enjoying the fuck out of it.
Is this your
Like no, like because when Iceman comes out, does his whole shtick, I'm like, yo, get him out of here.
right.
But I love it.
But in a good way.
Yeah, it's like it makes you buy in
Yeah.
to, what I'm saying? It's like because at the end of the day, considering, what he is and what side of the coin you are as far as like heel or face,
Mm,
I'm supposed to not like you.
right.
You're supposed to make me hate it.
But yet you're still
But
so
like,
entertaining.
yeah, you're entertaining. It's like, bro,
Yeah, it's a great tandem. It's a great character. And I can't think of a great, of course, person to comparison to the OG knockouts, but someone who kind of did more character work and then impressed in the ring too when, it came time to shine. And she takes her time, man. You don't get that many people that are like she feels confident
yeah.
during, and that just oozes through the television. So I dig that. And I don't know if when I would used to watch NXT that was the case, but really really confident, man, and I dug it. But Jordan's still dominant here, which is great. She's still going to represent us. I feel like there's more with NXT. We'll get to that in just a moment. Um, but number 2 on the power rankings, Jordan Grace. All right,
Absolutely.
we're going to move on to another match that had a lot of stuff going on, and we should have known from the get because Francois Kazarian was the referee, and you knew something Montreal was going to happen. See, brother, I don't know.
Hashtag Earl's Redemption.
Earl's Redemption, man. Speedball is going to pick up the victory and the X Division title for the second time. And, we got this wrong, especially after seeing PCO win. We just didn't think they'd run the board with faces. Um, but it had a little bit of everything, and it didn't feel, at least to me, uh, mush,
Yeah.
How'd you feel about the match? Obviously, Earl coming out, the Hall of Famer Earl.
In the OG Hall of Fame shirt, not even like
Right.
in a newer TNA joint. Like you still got the OG shirt.
Been through the
Is
washer a few times, yeah.
I mean, I guess once you're in the hall, you whatever you wear, you have the hall crest. Like imagine if Sting, I'm just bullshitting here. Imagine if Sting came out for one more match in TNA, and then he's got his regular singlet shit, but then like on the back, there's the Hall of Fame crest.
Right. Yeah, so he's got
And
it's
you just own your Hall of Fame shit. Kurt Angle
right.
with a Hall of Fame medal.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But the match?
Yeah, no, got paid too much attention to Earl. But no, the match was exactly what I expected it to be. Fucking fire.
Yeah. And we did so we got this wrong, but we thought from the get that Trent Seven would maybe be either turning and in the SWAT suit or helping in the SWAT suit. I really didn't think the latter. I didn't think he would be helping. I thought it was going to be the turn here.
I didn't think that the build of any of the SWAT cats matched Trent. So I'm like, yeah, nah, that's not Trent. Trent's gotta like run out or something like
They got
that.
us.
And then that was made me think he was gonna turn, but
Right. I wrote you
hey,
and
he
I
got
thought
us.
I was asking because behind, but Sinner and Saint. I was like, is that their build? Is this how we introduced them? I thought you introduced the SWAT the week prior. You had him out there again. Something was going to happen. Um, but I didn't expect it to be Trent Seven being face, and I didn't expect Earl Hebner to not be able to do it because he hit hashtag Earl's redemption.
Hashtag Earl's Redemption. Earl, I mean, dude, I thought Bret Hart was gonna come out there. I ain't gonna lie to you. I did. I thought Earl was about to go and do the screw,
And he was going to,
and then some form of a TNA Bret Hart theme song would play, and it's like, oh shit, it's Bret Hart.
Right.
But that I Treehouse at the time.
Mistaken. Yeah. You start to build it up. But hey man, I like the moment. I get the moment. Once again, even though there was a lot of shit going on, I never felt convoluted. Is that the one? And I will say this, Speedball, and this is something I told you in text, but Speedball for months, man, is just you can't take away what he does in the ring. Can't take away no matter what gimmick, what he's doing at that moment. He's going to shine when he wrestles.
Yeah.
But they weren't really giving him anything. I thought he was out the door. I know heard he was going to AEW. Maybe he could still do that. But it was more so the presentation of Speedball has been like, oh, let's put him in a tag team. Let's still have his wrestling ability on TV, but let's not invest too much into the character. That's what it felt like. But these last 2 weeks, man, of developing on Impact, the Speedball character and the presentation of it was right on key, man. And that momentum, I was like, oh, maybe. But then Trent Seven, or not Trent Seven, yeah, the Trent Seven thing, yes. And then Ali saying he's got something for uh, Bailey. I just thought the screw was in, but yeah, I love where they're going with Speedball. Happy he's the X Division champion. It brings back good memories. I was actually in Albany when he lost it to Kazarian, and everyone was upset. So to do it in Montreal felt full circle. It's a good time, man. It's a good time.
I just knew from the moment I didn't hear Brass Monkey. I'm like, okay, yeah, nah. Because my thing was because to go to the preview show I did with Bert and Dotzel when
Yeah,
we got to this match, I was like, if Speedball comes out, the Brass Monkey, he's winning this belt. If he doesn't, I think he's losing.
and he still
So
did.
yeah,
But we've been wrong the
just
whole
like
night.
exactly.
I know you want
We
TNA
call this
paying
shit
for
a what?
Brass Monkey. If he goes to AEW, you'll be hearing Brass Monkey. Uh,
Oh yeah, for sure, skis.
yeah, but I hope he stays, and I hope this is indication of such. Um, because bell for bell, I mean, what the hell do you do? And once again, how they're presenting him, I really dig as well. Not as good
He's
as
like our hero. He could
not
be
as good
like
as
our Goku.
is he? There you go. I was gonna say he's not as good as Monsieur Baguette or whatever his damn name is, but pretty good.
Nah, he ain't gonna get there yet. He ain't get to the French bread, man. That's a
I'll take
level.
Goku. I'll take Goku. Next up, I'm going to make a reference because it leads to a match this week. Santino's going to talk, and the personal concierge, and is going to go back there and demand redemption for Ash because she got screwed out. Hammerstone's going to come in and make us feel better about Hammerstone, which I enjoyed that moment between him and Iceman, slipping back and forth. It's the Wesley and Des Xavier but it's one person. Anyways, um, so we're setting up a match next week with Jordan and Eric Young versus Ash by Elegance and Hammerstone. Hey, maybe they could be the two of them. No, they
The
kind of look
family.
this. That's a cool package. They look like they should be together. Ash by Elegance and Hammerstone. Hammerstone with a sick pose, by the way, on the get out your cameras posing on the ropes. Dug it, man. But I have the word chicken roll up written down here. Did someone say that? I don't know. Uh,
I think you got hungry.
Yeah, probably. No, I think they were saying he rolled him up like a chicken because that's how Eric Young beat him. Hopefully.
That makes sense.
I don't know. This show's off the rails. Anyways, if you guys are still watching, thank you. We love you. Um, but we move on to the main event. We got Dane Crook as the referee. So who knows what will happen here, Lucha. I'm going to run
Motherfucking
down.
shout out to Griselda Ref.
What's that? Oh, is he the
Shout
Griselda
you
ref?
call him Dane Crook, I call him Griselda
That's
Ref.
right.
Hell
I
yeah.
forgot.
I know he popped over the West Side shit. He had to.
He could have layers. He could have multiple names. He could be like the show closer, Dick Zipper with the zip zap. You know what I mean? We could layer it.
With
Um,
Zip Zap.
It's my transition back on track. So he's the ref, Griselda ref, Dane Crook. We're gonna start off with everyone getting in their spot. I want to mention that before I just buzz through. Everyone getting in their piece. But I text you at 17 minutes, I think, in. They had entrances. At 12 minutes, they rang the bell, and I said, or to 11 o'clock, and I was like, what the hell? They gave this match 12 minutes. Went another 20 after that. And I was here for it. As much as I joke about being old and whatever, this was the cherry on top for me. I'm a sucker for elimination matches. When we did this 6 months ago, I don't know, maybe time's different. I can't remember. My timing's off rather. But the main event picture was always something people complained about. And to see five credible people in this match, six credible people in this match, we'll make squid.
5 credible challengers.
There we go. It was beautiful. But we're gonna start with Macklin getting pinned by Moose. Moose then getting pinned by Hendry. And I'm a sucker for that as well. When a champion loses an elimination chamber or something early, and it's like, oh shit. But I'm glad they broke it up like that. Oh, it's cool to see Josh and Macklin working together in the beginning,
Yeah.
which should have planted the seeds for what we're about to hit. Because next Hendry or Moose gets pinned by Hendry, giving him the moment there. Hendry, who I picked, I thought would win. I don't know. I just threw it out there just because of the momentum. Um, Hendry then gets beat by Josh after a nut blow, kick to the nuts. And Josh turns heel. Let's pause there for a second. We'll hit on as a whole, but Josh turning heel, did it pop you like it popped me?
Yes.
Yeah.
So much yes. Because I looked away, like I just so happened to like glance down at my phone, and then by the time like I heard what happened, I'm like, huh? And I just fucking froze. And then the beatdown, the post elimination beatdown was crazy.
Man, what he was
You
saying.
couldn't lace my boots on my worst day. You're a comedy wrestler. You're a joke.
You heard it, man, and I appreciate that because I didn't write it down, and that is a point I wanted to make. Uh, Lucha. Because dude, when that happened, it just checked off so many boxes. One, Josh has been, I'll say for lack of a better term, floundering, since he's returned from injury.
Same
And
position you were thinking Speedball was prior to this rivalry?
that's why almost it gave me I was like, PCO's on the up, Speedball's on the up, Josh is a heel. Are we getting Team Kit? No, I don't know. I thought about the Team Canada vibe because everyone was doing that old Jeff Hardy Bound for Glory series thing. Jeff Hardy has no chance. Heel turn 10-10-10, right? Anyways, it just checked off a lot of boxes. Josh was in that speedball position. For one reason or not, who knows? Some of us assume from past, who knows? The management thing, who knows, right? There's a lot of things that it could have been. So your mind starts going. So for him to just kick him right in the nuts was like Josh is back in the thick of things. He's not kicking anyone in the nuts. We're kicking a man who has now gone viral, who we've shown love to Joe Henry since day one. The only thing we've said, and it's not a whatever, he's one of those dudes, maybe like Ash Violence, character first, wrestling surprises you, right? Or can continually be elevated. And that's what I think he's doing. And this is the man you want him to go against to prove that. This is where he's
the gatekeeper.
the standard, right? So it just checked off so many boxes, man. And anyone else here pins Hendry under any other circumstance, we're gonna get through this, guys. Under any other circumstances, it wouldn't have worked. But it worked because it was Josh turning heel and beating. And now we have a feud right here that is almost, it's like that Macklin Josh kind of feud where these are two dudes who should be in the heavyweight picture. They're our guys.
Yeah.
And Austin Brett. I don't know. It's that vibes,
One of whom's a former DMC, but
Yeah, man. I just really dug that. Moving on, the guy who will win the championship beats Josh. Respect there makes sense. And then Kaz
Did we skip through the table spot where Kaz and Nemeth were battling over who was going to get put through? Kaz was going to hit forgot the name of the damn move.
Flux capacitor?
No, not the flux.
Oh, the fade to black. Fade to black.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
He was trying to hit that on him.
No, I was swinging around. I was swinging. We were gonna get there. But thanks for reminding me because I probably would have forgot. Nemeth picks up the victory over Josh, and then a returning Kaz who took that table spot earlier, right after Macklin's elimination, I believe. He took that spot?
Yeah, because that's when stuff spilled out the ring and everything.
Yeah, because Moose is carrying him back. I remember him carrying two people back to
he was carrying Nemeth and who was it? Was it Joe?
I don't know. Might have been.
Yeah, it was Nemeth and Joe, and then Josh was like already down there close to the ring on the guardrail, and he just kicks Josh in the fucking face, drops Joe Hendry. He's
That's
like,
right.
"Yeah, I want you now," and
That's
it's
right.
just
Man, there were so many good moments like that, and as we talk, it like kind of sparks them out. There was a part where Kazarian was trying to get Moose to be his friend, and then Moose turns, whatever. He's trying to be his
yeah,
friend. Tag up there, and he hits him. He turns on him. He's like, "Fuck you, Moose," or "I hate you, Moose," or something like this.
hate you most,
I
and
hate you,
it rolls out.
Kazarian. Man, let's hit that now. So he takes that spot. He comes back in, and that, if not the AJ Francis kick out, is definitely the one where I thought Kaz had it. I think I texted you. I was like, "They're crowning the king." Um, Not to be, but Kaz's character work too, man, or the development of who Kaz is in general. We went from the future, we went, then he goes to WWE, then he goes to Bad Influence. I'm missing a bunch. We talked about serotonin offline. So there's a lot of there's the Bentley bounce that era with Tracy and him. There's so many good things and different things. I know I mentioned Bad Influence, but I'll mention them again. Um, Goes to AEW, comes back, and has this dude found who he is or not, man? Like this is the King of TNA gimmick is his. Comes out with the Eddie Van Halen pants. It's the chef's kiss, man. And that's why I would have been okay if Kazarian won. Even if it sent people home unhappy. I mean, top to bottom, we only had two heel wins technically, Militia and Tasha. Knockouts, nonetheless. But man, kudos to Kaz and what he's becoming. Do you see what's before we jump to Nemeth? Do you see a line? Well, obviously we see a number one contender already lined up, a bunch of them, Moose, Kazarian. But do you see Kaz winning it at some point?
Mm, I do I do see him winning it at some point, but also I kind of felt that this was his best opportunity to do so.
Mm,
But I do feel like there's still a chance. You know what I'm saying? Because shit, it's not like he's wrestling with a t-shirt every week. Like, dude still looks great. So we got a nice run out of Kaz coming. So it can still happen. I just thought that, especially after Moose got pinned, because
yeah,
I went with Moose because
yeah,
I went with the system to run the whole night because I trust the fucking system. But after Moose got eliminated, I was like, oh, this is for sure Frankie.
right. By the way, the system, the reason I put an asterisk next to your legends who wear t-shirts because system's still kicking ass wearing t-shirts, man. Um, but yeah, no, I thought I was with you there, man. Or no, I did change it. I changed it to Hendry just because I thought, man, no matter what happens, you're gonna send that big crowd home happy. And for it to be someone who's going, I mean, literally viral. I mean, he's on a rocket pack. It made sense. It felt like a TNA move to ride that momentum, and rightfully so. Didn't happen. I know that I heard a lot of people were kind of meh about that, or at least our buddy Chris Letta tagged us in something that mentioned that people were complaining about it not being Hendry. To those, I mean, look, we're gonna get a great feud for Hendry right here. That will elevate him when he comes out of it into that picture on the regular. But he's also doing
Yeah,
NXT stuff at the same time. Um, I'm just excited to see where he is. He deserves it, man. He's a talented dude. But I do see world title. I see world title in all of their futures again, man. I can see Macklin rocking it again. Definitely. Hendry and eventually Kaz eventually, Josh hopefully, and Moose of course is Moose. It's the face of TNA.
Santana, go deeper, pause. Hammerstone.
Yeah,
You could say Jake something could be a future world champ within the next
gotta elevate, buddy.
365 days. Like it's with pictures crazy though.
We're in a good place, man. And then we're probably excluding tons of people that are, people are throwing shit at the can or at their screen app saying, why aren't we mentioning this person, this person? It's a good roster, man. And I really hope we come back and do depth charts. That would be really cool. Um, but wrapping it up, Nick Nemeth, Dick Zipper, it's the Zip Zap. LOL Tree and a shout out if anyone knows what the hell we're talking
I
about.
mean, every time Nick Nemeth comes out, I think it's an LOL tree and they shout out. But
I'm gonna go with it. Is it executive producer Josh Matthews or the hardest working production team in the business? I forgot to hit that they said that. In all respect to them. But
Oh my.
I know. We should have Alyssa flashed it. Anyways, Nick Nemeth is our champion. We thought it would happen maybe at Rebellion. Is that what it was? Yeah. But it happens here
Yeah.
at Slammiversary, kind of out of nowhere as well. He had the injury. He's been, doing his New Japan stuff. He's with his brother, and then we get the victory here, the go home happy moment. How are you feeling about Nick Nemeth? Because we played around with what could happen. Like if this person wins it, who's lined up, right? Before the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where do you see Nemeth going with it, and are you happy with that result?
I mean, I'm not mad at the result. As far as like, happy versus mad at any of the results, the only one that got me in my feelings was PCO and AJ Francis, just because I fuck with AJ Francis. But I was surprised. Like I was just like, it was all right, this is what we're gonna do. Let's go.
Right.
Um, was convinced up until Nemeth got the pin that it was gonna be Frankie though.
Right after Moose got eliminated. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then I mean, where does he go from here? I mean, he's got a nice. We at some point, Frankie and Joe Hendry are going to be in front of him. It's just a matter of who's coming out first, and
Mhm.
who's going to be the one to take it from him.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not as clear as we may want it to be, just because, like we said, title
Yeah,
picture's deep as hell.
there's a lot of challengers, man, and that's what I'm looking forward to, man. Because I feel like, I know there's a lot of TNA fan out there. Supposedly they wanted Hendry and they're mad that it wasn't Hendry. Whatever. I think it works out in the end because if you really look at it, you take a step back, you put away your feelings for a second. If you're a Hendry person or whoever you were invested in here. If you told us a year ago that I'll say the past name Dolph Ziggler was here and he was facing Moose and in a six-way for the title, and then he wins the title, I think we'd all be generally happy. And say, oh, this is a dream match. This is a dream match. Just like we said when Christian came on board, just like we said Kurt Angle came on board. These are dream matches we want to see that we didn't think would ever happen. So for that reason, we're going to get a lot of these names that we've been mentioning, and maybe some we're not. Um, that this dude's going to have bangers. So I just think, hey, creative, I'm sure has stuff planned out down the road. Um, but to put it on this guy for the new cycle of tapings and with the NXT, there's just so many possibilities, and I'm happy for it. So I'll see where it goes willingly, I guess.
Yeah, if there's anyone that I'll trust to, at the very least, put on a good ass match,
Right.
it's our current world champion. And that sentence just sounds right to me.
Yeah. Wait, you said not our current? Wait, oh, he is our current
I
world
said,
champion.
and
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
because
a good place
that's
to
what
be.
Nemeth is. He can, at the very least, say what you want about anything else about the cat, bell to bell. He can give you a pretty damn good one.
Yeah. And it's with the people you don't expect to, which is a true sign of who you want as your world champ, man. So I'm happy for it. But I kind of mentioned it. We're gonna get into hot topics, guys. We're blabbing on. I thank you guys for rocking with us. Let us know you want us to come back. Let us know what you think of this, or if you don't want to come back, make sure you check out all the other great TNA podcasts out there. We're gonna get into our hot topics, and we don't have many, but it's all kind of intertwined with the E, right? We have TNA NXT that's been happening since we've been gone. Since we've been, not gonna say. And then we have Motor City Machine Guns. I know it's late. Possibly going to the WWE. I should put my Jedi hood on, but in my hope, I don't know if it's hope or if it's hopefully manifestation. I think there's something bigger to play here, hand in hand. But let's start with the TNA NXT. I want your thoughts on the relationship so far. Obviously, you're keeping up on it, but also where you like to see it go or
I'm
stop.
rocking with the no, I'm rocking with the relationship so far. I mean, I'm looking at it like there's some cats that are in NXT that have some TNA history, like with Wes,
Mhm.
Roxanne. There's probably a gang of others that can come in and kind of like tie up some loose ends or something. or some shit. Just like the opposite, there's a lot of cats in TNA that were just in NXT. Same thing.
Right.
So there's that opportunity. You want to talk about TNA's tag division as far as the knockouts being weak? It's like, well, you got a bunch of tags in NXT who are in the same position as far as like trying to, come up in the game. Like if you give them
Mhm.
some tag team burn in TNA, that can help bolster the division temporarily, and then give NXT's workers some experience outside of the PC. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
a different independent, if you will, I guess.
Long story short, WWE being able to send people on what's the shit? Like when Japan does it, they'll
Excursions?
send. Yes,
I
when
was
they
so
send them
happy
on
I knew something.
WWE can send their up and comers on excursions to,
Yeah.
get them better. So then we can keep the machine rolling of like, oh, we got like 4 Roman Reigns down at the PC right now.
Yeah.
And then also, and if you want to talk about, oh, well, what about the main roster? You kind of got to see if it's going to resonate with the NXT audience, the smaller portion of the audience
Mhm.
first, see if they even,
Yep.
will buy in before we even want to bother bringing in a main roster cat.
I think we get some. I do think we get some, and I'm going to play on that. But to your point, yeah, I think the excursion angle, or I don't want to call it independent because I know that seems or an independent, but independent from WWE. I think there's multitude of reasons why this relationship is great, um, and maybe a little bit of pettiness too that we'll talk about. Uh, but I think it does give their talent that because most of these people coming through the performance center now aren't necessarily from the indie. Well, most of them aren't from the indies and then thrown into the NXT environment and retrained in the performance center. It's kind of, hey, we scout you, we like you, you're a cheerleader, you're a football player, you're this or that. Let's bring you in. So this gives them that taste of a different crowd working, in different arenas and stuff. So for that reason, I see the benefit for them. For the benefit for us, we get those connecting pieces. We get Wesley back for the thing there. We get a pop of people coming in. I'm not a fan, and I think eventually it's got to change, and I'll get to there where I think it will change. But when they come to our arena, I want you chanting NXT. I want chant NXT. When we go to theirs, they shouldn't be chanting TNA. I want to get to
You want some home field advantage,
I want some home field advantage. And I think we get there, and that's my bigger angle out of all of this. Um,
but to counter that real quick though, that wouldn't make sense in the realm of like the Rascals now face going with Wesley, and then say we pay attention. We got a heel Ethan Page and a heel Josh Alexander.
See, because I think the Froofy shit's over with. We got the fun stuff. Who else is really a connector for someone that we would have that moment besides Dez? Joe Hendry pop is a face. He was out there with in that 6 man when the Rascals wrestled right on NXT.
Jordan being a face also.
Jordan being a face also. We got our first initial touch of that. We got our little rub from it. I think there's something where we could play off of, hey, let's test the waters. I don't think it's a Vince like mindset of, oh, they're so beneath us. We got to see if NXT people know who they are. Obviously they do, which is interesting because I thought no one watched TNA, right? Um,
Yeah, right.
but I think it's more so of let's test the waters here. Let's introduce some people. Let's take advantage of the partnership there. Maybe we're just going too far ahead. But say there's a War of the Worlds or whatever you want to call it, that portal is open and there's a joint pay-per-view of some kind on NXT's turf. It'd be a great time to then say Buddy Buddy's over. Let's start putting some storylines into place like Josh or some of those heels coming in, or let's start looking at the TNA group as our enemy. And I think what WWE and they're smart is they say, and I don't mean this with disrespect to AEW or your fans, but I don't think WWE respects AEW or its owner. They don't. I don't believe they think that he's. I don't know if they what they think, but I don't think they want to play in his sandbox. I don't think they want to do business.
Yeah.
So if you don't like what they've been doing prior and the shots they take at you and all that stupidity that's happened, Last I checked, in America, you can't be a monopoly. You need a number two. It feels that's where the pettiness comes in. It feels like maybe part of it also is let's boost TNA the most we can because at the end of the day, we always need a Pepsi to our Coke, right? Or Coke to your Pepsi, depending what your tastes are. Uh, but you get my point. So I
Yeah.
just think I think that's part of it. I think they saw that people were clamoring for a AEW versus WWE, like, oh, the territorial, what is that called? What they call? Yeah, like
Territorial
mindset.
warfare.
So they're making money off it. Let's make money off it. We're not going to make it with us versus AEW because that's not going to happen. So let's make money off of us versus somebody and do an invasion angle correctly. And that's where my big picture and I'm trying to get to is I think Triple H is not dumb. And I think he could look back and say, man, what's the one of the biggest blunders people go back and say we've made? That botching that invasion angle, right? With WCW. Well, TNA's relevant. Okay. They got some young cats that we like and we'll probably end up taking anyways. Why don't we give them a boost while also remembering, just like WCW had Big Show and Jericho in that company, they should have made them part of the alliance. We can redeem that and make some money off of this. You have AJ turn, you have Magnus or Nick Aldis say he was there the whole time. There's a lot of different people on that roster that are main event people that can make this work. And kind of vice versa. Our champion being one of them. Anyways, I don't know if I got to all of it, but I think it's beneficial for a lot of us and them and the wrestlers themselves. But I'm here for it. And I guess that's the biggest.
I over an invasion, I would personally rather like a World Cup of some sort. But that, like, do it for the history, not necessarily the rewriting of history, but like let's keep doing shit that's never been done before.
That's fair.
Like a full, like WWE has a, I guess I could say, an umbrella of companies
Mhm.
underneath them, and their army between them. Noah, what's the Marigold
Right.
thing with TNA? You can also throw in AAA. Also, they got a nice little umbrella to where we can put on like a World Cup situation, and it really be as big as we wanted it to be.
Hey, that could be some big shit too. But and I like that idea, and I would take just that. But I think there's an opportunity here that they don't get in much of a lifetime. With WCW, when those people finally came over, we're getting DDP at whatever, and I love DDP. We're getting Hall, Nash, and Hogan at whatever, and obviously Hogan had his little thing, that went well. Um, we got Scott Steiner late. We got all these people late. We got AJ who could still go. We got some people in here all this. We got, I don't know. I'm sure there's more. I'm sure you guys will yell at the screen again and list them below. But I just think there's an opportunity here for have that. Oh my God, he joined TNA moment, or he joined. That they could do. Speaking of, where bring it home, Motor City Machine Guns possibly going to WWE, and there's another plant, if you will, to really make that work. I don't know. NXT champion is a former TNA. Oh man,
I mean, dope for the machine. As someone who's been, like I said a couple years ago, the fact that the Machine Guns don't get the respect they deserve as like one of the greatest tag teams of all time,
yeah.
that kind of hurts my heart. But that's also because they haven't been, no offense to TNA, but they haven't been on the stage to where they could truly show that.
Hmm.
So now they go to WWE, take one of the tag titles they got there. I mean, hell, Machine Guns versus DIY sounds pretty damn good to me. Johnny Gargano and
Yeah.
Tommaso Ciampa sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, the timing's right, and they do deserve that respect. They deserve the big stage. And when they left, I was like, oh man, it sucks for sure. But they're at that point in their career where they could still have a great run in them. And I'm happy they chose the once again, nothing against AEW, but I don't want them to get lost in the shuffle. You bring them in there, they're going to be broad and right, and regardless of an invasion angle or not. Um, they'll be put on the platform they're supposed to be on. So I'm happy for them. I'm happy for us because we still get to reap the benefits, the invasion angle or not. I mean, 4,000 capacity sellout for Slammiversary, which I give a big A. I know we didn't grade it, but that's what I would have went with. Your thoughts to wrap this up?
From the moment I heard West Side Gun, it was an A, and then nothing could have told me otherwise.
So I think they hit a home run here. Are there things we could tweak? Are there things, as we were mentioning in the beginning, that we have to be unbiased, transparent, and honest about? Hopefully that we've been able to communicate to you guys. Um, yes, but it is what it is. And I thought what was pretty damn good. It was 4 hours and 20 minutes of
And nice.
hey, how it works. Um, of fucking entertainment, man. And that's all you can ask for. To sit down for that long, not get bored throughout, not really have lulls, and then what people could consider the lulls still were damn entertaining, you know? So I'm happy, man. I'm not going to get petty over outcomes or first half lighting or audio. I thought this was an A, and I'm happy this is the one we got to do a podcast about, Lucha. That's a random hair in my eye.
Yes.
Um, but I appreciate you guys who have made it through the whole episode. Sorry it wasn't as crisp as it's never been. But we had a good time. I hope you guys did too. Lucha, what do you want to talk about before we go?
Man, we done talked about it all. I just want to say shout out Diamond Villain, shout out Jeff. I miss doing this, man. You know, I miss talking to the folks. Then I it's good vibes. It's good
It's good
vibes.
vibes. And that's the biggest thing that I wanted to say on the way out. One, obviously, we love you guys. We appreciate all the love our exit post got. How you guys were looking forward to this coming back or not, or just checking it out and said, "Oh, these guys aren't horrible." Um, Either way, I appreciate you guys coming to this. Help us out if you want and want us to come back. But the one fan, one friend at a time gimmick moniker was legit. For us, this was talking to each other and making friends, talking to you guys, making friends, live chatting, which I miss. Once again, hey, that money isn't. We're not being greedy. It's gonna be put into computers and stuff, so we can actually go live stream. My computer crashed. I have a little dinky thing I write screenplays on, so but we'll get there, and or we hope we do. And either way, we'll still check in, but I hope it's sooner rather than later. I thank you guys for the love all around. And there's so many of you to name. But make sure you drop us a comment, or if you do go to our Cash App and hit us up, make sure you write your name so we can shout you out and tell you you're the reason that we're doing another show, and make sure we get your name and question on there. So for Lucha and myself, for episode 151, for one night only, we're doing we salute you. I don't know how are we ending this off. I don't know.
I was holding my heart. You know, just
Oh, love, all
shout
love.
out to the people always.
It's all love. And once again, you don't like our shenanigans, you don't like our nonsense, check out all the other TNA wrestling podcaster streamers out there. Build this community. That's what we did when we set out to, or that's what we tried to do when we set out to do this. Show love to a community that wasn't getting any. I'm glad to see it's in good hands and keeps growing. Until next time, see you guys. Goodbye. Oh, thank you for coming out. God bless you. Good night.
TNA, TNA, TNA.